What's up guys, this is Eric from Beastline. Today we have here a 2013 Lexus ES and we're going to be installing once again our plug-and-play CarPlay Android Auto retrofit, our S-Connect interface. Very easy to install, everything's plug-and-play. We had done a few of these videos before, but it's been a while since we did the Lexus ES video. So I want to just kind of refreshen up and do a newer video and share with you our findings and things that will help you along the way when installing our kit. All right, well, let's get in the car, let's get started and let me show you how it's done. All right guys, now we're in the vehicle. Let me show you the tools we're going to be using. So we have a 10mm socket. We're using a power tool. You could connect this to a ratchet if you don't have a power tool. We also need a Phillips screwdriver. We're also going to use a flathead to remove some of the clips. And we got some panel removal tool. We got a small one and a big one. And we're going to need both. Make sure you use plastic ones so you don't leave any marks in the interior. And we also have a short flathead. All right, so first, let's start by removing the trim this way. So we're gonna use this small panel removal tool and just grab this here and just pry this out. Okay, and just work your way all the way to the left. All right, next let's move this centerpiece here. Let's grab a hold of this vent. Just pull it out towards you. All right. Okay, push down on this release. Okay, there it is. All right, we're gonna remove this panel here. This is where you need this thicker panel removal tool. And right here, just bring it out. Okay, and then this will expose 4 10mm bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4 down here. So let's remove those. Okay, before we pull this out, let's remove this top dash. So there's 2 clips up here. It's those round clips. It has a little slit on it, so you could put your small short flathead and pop it off. That's when this small flathead comes in handy. So you will have to place your hand down here. If you like, you could use a flashlight. You're just gonna try to grab the edge of the opening and then to release the clip. Okay, and then place your hand up there, or you could put the panel removal tool here and then dab this. All right, so once we remove this panel piece here, let's go ahead and remove these 2 Phillips screws. Okay, you can also use an 8mm socket if you wish. Be careful not to drop this. You can use a magnetic tool to catch these bolts if you wish. All right, so once this is out, the screen is ready to come out. Go ahead and place your hand back here and just pull on it to release the clips. Okay, and from here, let's go ahead and disconnect all the connectors. We got 1, 2, and we got another one on the side here. This is for your airbag indicator. And we're going to use a flathead screwdriver to push the pin out from underneath. All right, so if you look here, we have 3 connectors. One here for your airbag light and for your GVIF, and then also the main connector that powers up your screen. So all 3 of these we just removed. Just make sure you reconnect all 3 of them before you put it in later, especially the one on the side. A lot of people tend to forget that. All right, next, let's go ahead and remove the radio here. Let's go ahead and remove this shift knob to make a little bit more room. Okay, and then we'll place the thick towel here. We're using a sweater. You could use a thick towel and firmly pull it towards you. All right, and this will expose all the connectors that we need to connect. All right, now that everything is out, let's grab our kit. But before we do so, on our previous video, we removed the glove box. We're gonna install today without removing the glove box because actually there's room behind the radio and also room behind the screen. So there's actually a few different places you can mount the 2 boxes, but be very aware that if you're going to mount it behind the radio here, even though there's a lot of room, it does risk putting strain on the connection points. So unless you're very organized and you're very, very careful, I highly advise not installing it behind the radio. So only do so if you're experienced, if you're very, very careful. If you force things in, if it doesn't want to go in, but you just jam it in there, things will break. You will knock off connection points from the circuit board, which will damage the boards. And if you damage the boards, it's very expensive to replace. So if you don't want to take the chance, make sure you have plenty of room to where you're mounting the box. So just want to let you know, it is possible to go behind the radio, but unless you're careful, I advise not to. Behind the screen, there's a lot of room there too. We haven't tried that, but I could see that you can. And today we're also going to look under the glove box before we remove the glove box, and we mounted it behind it. But today we're gonna try it without removing the glove box, just to save you some steps. Okay, so first let's route these two GVIF cables. The blue part will remain behind the screen. So like this, and we'll keep this facing this way. Let's mount the monitor back. All right. Then let's work on the connectors behind the radio. So these CAN wires will all come configured already, but if you're gonna double check, the red GS cables will be connected to this white and also orange cables, and the RX brown cable will be connected to each other. And getting one of these panel removal tool, press down the release and pull out like so. Okay, and then let's connect our plug and play harness. This one's the older case, metal, the newer one's plastic. The dip switch is going to be configured for you already. If you want to double check, it should be 1 and 4, and there should be a tag here that it confirms the correct dip switch setting. Okay, so let's connect this first. This is the main connector. Let's connect this here. Okay. Then we have our two GVIF cables. One's labeled out and one labels in. The one that's labeled out is going to connect to the inside, and the one that's labeled in will connect to the outside like this. Okay. And then what is left is our HDMI cable. I'll keep this like this for now. And then let's connect our other connectors and cables. All these will connect to our wireless module. So you have two 3.5mm jack. One is labeled audio. You'll connect to line out. Line out, it's all the way at the edge. You'll connect the microphone in to the mic in. And you'll connect this power cable to main power. And let's connect the USB. And lastly, connect the HDMI, which connects the two boxes together. All right, so everything's connected. I'm going to do a test here really quick and then make sure everything is in working order. And one thing, if you disconnected the negative terminal on your car's battery, then now is the time to reconnect it to do the testing. Oh yeah, and before we do that, one thing I almost forgot, is to connect this antenna. And this antenna here will connect to the wireless module. This is the antenna for your wireless connection. And you can route this cable. It's down here, just tuck it under, remove the adhesive, and just stick it on right here. So we're gonna do that. All right guys, so we went ahead and changed our mounting location to behind the radio. I was trying to mount these two boxes without removing it, and then I tried to fit both on the right side. Unfortunately, there's a lot of room there, but we just couldn't find a good place to mount it and prevent the dip switch box from moving around so much. So instead, we went back here behind the radio, and we tidied up our cables a bit. And when you're installing it behind the radio, once again, as I mentioned earlier, just be very, very careful and that you do not damage anything on the way. because it's more high risk of damaging when installing it behind the radio. Okay, you want to maneuver around the factory cables. You want to keep all the cables as straight and not cross them as much as you can. So for that reason, I'm going between these bundle of wires and move it along the side, and you'll find a lot of room to the bottom. And we didn't connect our HDMI onto the wireless module side yet. Okay, so you could actually fit it all the way down there. Okay, all right, let me see my dip switch box. All right, so that's where we're gonna fit it in there. It's gonna be a pretty tight fit. And let's use some foam tape before we secure it down there permanently. And when you're using these foam tapes, careful not to block the vent. Let's drop this down. Okay, make sure your dip switch configuration is still correct, because a lot of times when you're installing these boxes, there's customers tend to accidentally switch the dip switch. Okay, I want to see if I could turn it around to the side here. All right, that's better. So that when we push the radio back in, the connection points won't get caught up. All right, and there's some room right in front of it, so that is where we will fit our second box. And before we fit this, let me locate the HDMI cable. Go and connect the HDMI cable, and let's go through the same route. All right, cool, there it is. They're both fit in. They're all the way on the ground, which leaves a lot of room behind the radio. And then don't forget to route this USB cable here. It's going to be placed right under the radio, and organize all the cables to ensure everything fits back there. There's a lot of room, but if things get tangled a bit, then it may be a little difficult to push everything back in. It is. Here's my antenna here on the right side. I'll mount later. All right, so everything is in. And before we put everything back, because we didn't move around a lot of things, let's test it one more time. Okay. All right, perfect. Looks like everything is working as it should. Let me reverse order everything we just did, and that will conclude the installation. So here's the USB part here. So we're just basically gonna pinch it down here. Okay. So, all right. And then if you want to use it, you could plug it in. When you don't want to use it, you could just slide it off to the side. All right, so one last step. We got our antenna here. Gonna remove the adhesive, and we will apply it right here. All right. Okay, let's not forget our shift knob. All right, guys, so we just finished installing our S-Connect interface on this 2013 Lexus ES 300H. So let me go ahead and show you how this device works. Before we get into our CarPlay mode, you want to make sure your screen is in Bluetooth mode. So that's the default mode that many of you guys use. How to go there, just press media button, make sure you're in Bluetooth. Right now it's not connected. It's our customer's phone, so we're not going to connect to it, but your phone should be connected to it. If you're not connected, the audio is going to come out of the phone's speakers and not the car speakers. So if you want the audio to come out of the car speakers, make sure that is connected. And once you're there, press and hold the map button here. Okay, that'll switch over to this 3 icon screen. This is the screen you see when nothing is connected. And then okay, go to your phone and go to settings and go to general CarPlay, and you'll see the MV17W and some letters and number combination. Go ahead and pair. I'm not gonna allow my contacts because it's our customer's phone. Just wait a moment, you'll get another prompt that comes up. You're gonna accept it. And CarPlay will automatically launch. It's wireless. You could lock your phone after this, and going forward, if you come in your car, your phone will automatically connect to the CarPlay system. So as you can see here on the screen, you're gonna be using this joystick. Once you touch it, you'll see a little pink cursor. We try to make it as factory looking as possible. You could push down on the screen map and drag, okay, like so. If you want to make your selections, you could make your selections, and if you're here on the map screen, you could press down on the map screen and drag around, look around the map. And you can also use any of your map applications that you already have on your phone, such as Google Maps. And then we also have Waze on our phone. So all those applications will automatically display on the car screen, and you can select it. You can also use your favorite audio player like Spotify, Pandora, or Apple Music. Right now it's coming out of our phone because our phone's not connected to the car's Bluetooth. So make sure you connect your phone to the car's Bluetooth. And while you're in the CarPlay screen, if you put your car into reverse gear, you do see the reverse camera like normal, and you take it out of reverse gear, it'll go back to your CarPlay screen. And track up, and this works as track up and down for your music. Also, this tracking up and down works, and your steering wheel track up and down works as well, and your volume as well. So your volume will work, but you just don't see the number change on the screen. The reason why I didn't push this right now is because our phone's not connected to the car's Bluetooth. So once everything's connected, all this will work. You can also pick up and hang up phone from your steering wheel as well. So right now I'm showing you how the Apple CarPlay works. If you have an Android phone, our device also works with Android Auto. So if you have an Android phone, you connect to our device, automatically Android Auto will launch on the car screen, and all the same controls will work the same as how I explained for Apple CarPlay. And if you ever want to go back to the factory screen, press and hold the map button. That'll take you back to the factory screen. Press it, hold again, it'll take you back to the CarPlay screen. If you want to summon Siri, or if you want to summon Google Assistant, press menu, and there it is, and you could give your commands. And on a side note, this kit is available at a local Lexus dealership. And if you want to get it installed at the dealership, not all the dealerships are participating yet, but many of them are. So it doesn't hurt to ask. You can call your parts department at your Lexus dealership and ask them if they're offering installation service of the BeatSonic S-Connect interface. All right, guys, well, that concludes our installation, our quick demonstration of our plug-and-play S-Connect interface to add CarPlay or Android Auto to your Lexus vehicles. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, or you can email us at info@beatsonicusa.com. And if you're ready to purchase this today, you can visit us at beatsonicusa.com, as it's in stock and we can ship it out right away. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button. It's going to help us out a lot. Thank you very much for watching.